you had foster kids?
Yeah, and then I adopted them.
How did you decide on like that was the way to do it?
What do you mean? Parenting?
Were you married? You never got
No,
married?
never got married. No, that was, I'm happy for everybody else, but I just don't have a bone of that in my body. I just,
Pairing up?
Yeah.
That type thing?
Yeah, I just don't. It's just.
And the difficulty of raising kids on your own that was worth the solitude, so to speak?
I think that raising kids as a couple is probably a wonderful thing to do. I'm totally in support of those who do it. That's great. The idea that I would have to committee my decisions is just abhorrent to me. So no, I don't, it just wasn't. That was never in the cards. That was never going to happen. When I was younger and I would think about my future, it never included kids.
Never included kids?
Not really. I wasn't one of those women who, felt like, oh, and someday I want to have a family.
And what changed your mind?
Probably my oldest daughter. I used to volunteer in a group home.
Uh-huh.
My oldest daughter was there. And I just fell in love. She was the cutest little baby I
What
ever
made
saw
you
in your life.
volunteer in a group home?
I had this feeling that I had something to give and that I wanted to be able to use it in a way that moved things forward in a bigger way.
How did you parent in terms of discipline?
Timeouts.
Yep. Into that work?
Not really, but not really.
What do you think works? Is there just wait it out?
My middle daughter used to, when she was just a toddler, like real, little, just walking. I mean, she was talking enough that she could understand the words that I was saying and stuff. But we always had a lot of cats, and she would, I'd be doing the dishes, and she would grab a cat and bite its ear. I forget for how long this phase lasted. And interestingly, as far as I know, the cats never retaliated, which I was, because I think cats kind of know, oh yeah, well that's like a kitten.
Yeah.
It's like a human kitten. But anyway, she used to grab my cats and bite their ears. And when she would do that, I mean, partly because I didn't want her being mean to the cat, but partly because she was going to get herself hurt doing that, So I would rush over and tell her no, and then I would say, now you have to go sit on the stairs. And she would go sit on the stairs, and then I would say, okay, you can get up. And then after a while, she would grab a cat, bite its ears, and then walk over and sit on the stairs. She never really put it together as a...
turn herself in.
Yeah, exactly.
So that was part of her process.
She thought that after you have a big old bite of cat's ear, you rest.
Go have
I
a
think
seat.
that's what she came up with.
Think about what you did.
Yeah, I don't think about what you ever did, ever entered into the picture. And by the way, I don't know if it can, even for adults. I think that when you're upset about something, if you're angry with somebody, like say, I don't know, you're just, upset enough that you sort of lashed out as a kid or as an adult in such a way that you get called on it, and now you're sort of, put aside like, oh, now you have time to think about it. I don't think those are the thoughts that enter your head at that point.
I think you're just defensive.
Right. I think you're still angry.
And you're still justifying it.
Right. And now you're doubly mad because, well, now I've been busted for this thing and I still feel that other person did the blah, blah, blah. So I don't know when, I'm not sure that.
Well, that's the thing about like where people go like, I don't think they experience true remorse, or they go, you're sorry you got caught.
Right.
Yeah. Most people are sorry they got caught because they've already pre-justified whatever they were doing in their head. So have you ever felt pure remorse?
Yeah.
You have?
Yeah, absolutely.
At the right time for the right reason?
I don't know. But my point is just that I think here's an example. Okay. So after the Boston Marathon bombing, two brothers, for whatever their reason, not an okay thing to do, no matter what your reason is. But they believe they have a reason, right? And so they do this terrible thing. And the younger brother apparently accidentally ran over his older brother and kills him during their
shootout.
While they're trying to get away. And now eventually they catch the younger brother, and they put him in. And they put him in jail. I can't remember if they right away put him, because where he is now is like such an unconstitutional facility, because no humans interact with him.
Mm-hmm.
He's a robot brings his food. He doesn't. That's a terrible thing. But
although that's how most people live in LA. But go ahead.
Well, that's a good point. Yeah. Now we're all moving into. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, we're all jealous of that guy. But when he first went to jail, and there was a video camera in his jail cell, and he would flip off. He would flip off the video camera, and that used to be on the news. Look at this guy. Look at it. He's flipping us off. like that was the worst thing he ever did.
Yeah.
Okay. At this point, this kid has no one who likes him. No one. And of course he's flipping off the video camera. Like, I would flip off the video camera. That's just the stupidest thing in the world. Once you've taken away, and for righteous reasons, but once you've put somebody in isolation,
there's no incentive to do the right thing.
Why would he? All of a sudden he's supposed to reach out to everybody?
Yeah.
That ship has sailed. That ain't gonna happen. But maybe over time he'll come to right. But in that moment, why would he do anything?
But also, maybe why
that?
do I need him to over time come back to? It's not going to bring anyone back,
right? Yeah. I always thought that was the funniest thing. That was people's reaction. It's like, okay. It's like when Trump posts the heinous things that he posts, and people will go, and it was in all caps. Like, okay, you know what? That is so not a worthy detail, right?
That's so funny.
It means nothing.
Yeah.
It was in all caps, or I don't.
Yeah. It's like, that's your issue? That he hit all caps?
Boy, you locked that caps thing, and
you've gone
that one step too far.
It's a sociopath.
Yeah, and don't you kids be thinking in all caps. You go to your room and you sit and think about what you've done, and I don't want to find out you were thinking in all caps.
Do you? So what grade do you give yourself as a parent?
I don't grade myself as a parent.
Fair enough.
It's a useless pursuit.
So you just assume there's something, because my girlfriend has kids. She's like, yeah, I assume I've screwed them up somehow. I just don't know how yet.
Yeah. And then, and then there's the part that you have no control over. And it's a useless,
and what are you going to do at this point?
Pursuit. It's you just, there's that Great Impressions song, keep on pushing.
Yeah.
It's all you can do.
Yep.
It's all you can do. I mean, I went through one period of time in my life where I was a lot better at this than I am now, which is, every time I started to feel like, I wished that I had done this, or I wished that I had done that. And it was a thought that would come into my head, like while I was doing chores or something, generally when I was alone, sifting the litter boxes or something. I'd think, well, I wish I'd done this. And every time I heard myself say that, I would just like screech the brakes like Fred Flintstone's feet in his car and go, and now what? Right? Because that's the only answer, is now what?
Yeah.
All that is useless. And what it's going to do is I'm going to end up, another year from now, another month from now, or 10 years from now, having the same thoughts, because I didn't take the energy that I'm putting into this, regret that I didn't take it and just put it into the right now, so now what?
And does that end the thought?
A lot of times it used to. As I said, I'm not as good as at it now as I was then. But also that was when my kids were at home. And so a lot of it was, just like, okay, so, what do I need to do for them now? And again, you just don't control everything as a parent. And it's a funny idea. I'm not what my parents wanted me to be. They didn't, as parents, control things about me. When I started as a comic when I was 19, and people used to say to me, "What do your parents think about that?" And I would say, "I have no idea. I didn't ask them." And I used to tell that to my kids all the time. Because, you're going to do what you're going to do. And if I have an opinion and I happen to blurt it out, take it for what it's worth.
What's the goal with as a parent? Happy, healthy, what is it? Successful?
I think every parent would want their kids just to be happy in whatever form that takes.
Hey, did you like that? Did you like that? Yeah, did you like it though? You want more? Don't want to work? Would rather watch videos of me grab-assing with people? First of all, go up here to subscribe, and then go up here to watch more clips. This is like when the weatherman says that there's a high pressure system coming in. I'm not really used to the green screen.